Hi, everybody. How was your day today?
Are you asking us or the audience, and you're expecting an answer from
the audience is not mic'd.
You got sorry. Well, no, I was asked. Oh, they're not?
Well, since when you call me and JB everybody?
Yeah.
No, I call you guys the audience.
Because you think that's the only people listening to you is just us two?
Yeah.
You've got higher responsibilities than that. Let's come with the good stuff.
Judging by this opening, we're after it's going to be a great SmartLess. Welcome to it.
SmartLess.
Sean, what's on your cap there? Is that a college?
It's ISU, Illinois State University, where I have an honorary doctorate and a scholarship fund set up for people who want to go into music or the arts and acting and
Are
theater.
they still accredited? I mean, after you got a diploma, I heard that after they give you a diploma, that they were stripped of their power.
That sounds like a real is that an online university?
I still wear my sash to bed.
Once they did an assessment of your intellect, they're like, we gave this guy a fucking diploma.
Did you really go to ISU?
I went to Illinois State University. Yeah, it's one of the greatest colleges ever.
Okay.
Well, hang on. Let's quickly Google that.
Let's see how
because
much
I don't think you're going to like
For
the
theater.
result.
For theater. By the way, you know who went
theater.
there? Me, Jane Lynch, Craig Robinson, and I were music majors together.
We know.
I know.
We've
He's
had
been
him
on
on
the
the
show. We
podcast.
covered
I
that.
know. We talked about that.
We talked about it for like half an hour.
Hey, Arnett, where'd you go to school?
I didn't. I dropped out, man.
No, but you
No,
did
you
go.
You went to boarding school.
You know where I went? I went to fucking Hard Knocks, dude.
Oh, bro.
The streets
The Hard Knock Life with Annie.
of Toronto.
Yeah,
the streets of Toronto.
Did you go? You went to?
Excuse me.
Excuse me. You went
Pardon
to
me.
additional
Sorry.
voluntary school.
I did for half a year. Half
Yeah.
a year. I know. I love that you call it
Just made
volunteer.
No, actually, I should invert that. Voluntary additional school. And I just didn't understand the concept of that.
Mhm.
You know, like
Well, yeah. I mean,
I now have an option to not go, so taking that option.
sure.
Doing a good joke?
Yeah, sure. I'd love
Well, sure,
one.
just
ISU.
jump in. I didn't realize that you were grabbing the reins here. We were just merrily going down a path, but and you're
let's talk more about your school.
Let's just go fucking okay.
Let's talk more about your school.
I didn't go.
No, let's not.
Here we go.
Hold on.
Ready? The best gift I ever received was a broken drum. You can't beat it.
Okay, that's all right. That's okay. He doesn't claim these to be great jokes.
Oh,
They're
okay.
dad
I got a
jokes.
couple laughs in the background there.
You should say, do you want to hear a dad joke? If you say
No,
you
I
want to
don't
hear
like
a
the-
joke,
I don't-
people are ready for something good. Dad joke means it's not
I don't
gonna
like
be
the
good.
term dad joke. I think that's lazy to call it a
How
dad
about
joke.
bad joke? Just say bad joke so people aren't expecting to
Or
laugh.
like a pun.
Yeah.
That's okay to say.
I got one more. You got one
Are
more?
there any mom jokes?
Here's a mom joke. What's faster, hot or cold? Hot. You can always catch a cold.
That's good. That's
It's not
good.
bad.
That's pretty good. I guarantee you at least one of our listeners will be using that today after they get out of their
Right.
car
Of course.
or off their subway or done with their jog.
Right.
You know, it's fun. You're welcome.
I love just no. Hang on, Sean. I love Jason trying to imagine what regular people do. It's so fun.
I
They
know.
get on the subway and then they jog, and then they kiss their
No.
kids goodbye, walk outdoor, go to job, say hi, boss, office.
Want to hear joke?
Want to hear a joke at water cooler with me. I love Succession too. And
What are you watching?
I'm also watching Succession. Are you watching it? I am also worried about saying that I don't like it. You're worried that you're saying I do like it. I'm just
All right.
making the joke. Not about
Real
Succession.
Yeah.
good
Succession.
opening patter, everybody.
Did
Let's
everybody
get on
sleep
to-
well? I slept really well.
Patter's over. Let's get
Oh,
to our
sorry.
high-level guest.
I slept
Okay?
really good, though.
Did you? For the first,
you wanna
actually,
see-
that is worth a
You want
derail.
to talk to us about your sleep? The guest is
it's
not going
very
to wait
rare.
for your sleep report.
Well, it's very rare that he has good sleep. Before we get into it, it is true, Sean, and I'm happy for you. And there's nobody. We talk about it all the time.
Right.
Sean, yesterday morning, JB,
Mm-hmm.
Sean, I said to him, "Hey, you got a second? Let me know when you got a second." Like 7. I'm up at 6. I said, "Let me know when you got
It
a
was
second."
like 7.
It was at 7. He calls me, and I go, and I thought that he was back. You know his usual thing. He wakes up in the middle of the night, and then he goes back to bed at 6:30 until 10 is whatever.
Yeah.
And he was up, and he'd been up since 3:30.
3:30.
He's been on a bad run of not being able to sleep. So
So I slept all through the night. I got up to pee and I went right back to sleep.
And why do you think that is? Did you load up on a bunch of sugar before you went to bed?
I did a little bit, but because of yesterday, I think that what Will's talking about, I think I ran myself around in circles like a little child, being up at 3:30, and then I just crashed, and it made me sleep all night long. It was awesome.
You nap.
Boy, what a fucking story.
I'll nap like I'll nap like 10 minutes. Anyway, so
Good that we stopped for that. You were right, Will. Silly me. So today's guest is so immensely accomplished.
We're going to see Bateman's face. What a fucking story.
I mean, God, who else slept through the whole night? Make sure you call in. Our lines are open and love to hear about it. So our next guest is so accomplished and so universally loved. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's done everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's done television, film, theater.
Wow.
He's even got a Grammy, I believe.
That's a lot.
It's been comedy, it's been drama, it's been popcorn movies, it's been Academy movies. I just don't know what else to say about this fella except he's a new friend.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. We met online. And he is also a Capricorn. And no, he is a new friend that I'm very excited about. He swings a mean golf club.
I thought you were going to say both. The way that started was he swings.
I know. I was like, what?
He'll take you where you want to go on the weekends, okay? Well, that's what I'm saying. But listen, I love him. He's here. Very kind of him to say yes, because this is a big shot. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Don Cheadle. Hello, Don.
I love Don Cheadle.
People, what's happening?
Good
Mr.
morning.
Don
Cheadle's done
You know what
everything.
I was trying to remember, Don? What is that great nickname that you were given because you're so smooth? I couldn't remember it. You told me this on the golf course.
What was it?
I think Kelly Slater said that was very Donchalant.
Yeah.
Donchalant. Is that a new nickname? That's really clever.
I'm trying to put it out there. You know, I was going to try to trademark it, but I was unsuccessful.
Donchalant is out there now. Just FYI, it's fully out there. And if you happen to run into Don Cheadle on the streets, just immediately Donchalant.
Yeah.
Let him know.
Mr. Chalant.
You can single gun it or double gun it.
Don
Cheadle, hi.
Good morning.
What's up, gang?
I love Don Cheadle.
You know, the team was like, you've got to do these guys' podcast. You're going to love them. I love all of you individually and collectively. Not as much when I sat through the banter. The early banter.
It's like remember the joy that the Regis and Kathy Lee used to give you with that first 10 minutes of coffee patter, right? Yeah. That's what we're reaching for, Don. You know,
we're on our way. It was a strong 6 minutes.
Don, where are we finding you right now? Because and the reason I ask is because you look like you're either coming from or going to the golf course because you're wearing a zip up. But I want to say, which is surprising, because you're so busy, and rightfully so, because you fit in that category for me too, of people who are always good no matter what the project is. Yeah. You're so consistently awesome all the time. And
Wait till you see this one.
Well,
it's going to take that down.
I don't know.
Scotty
but
and
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Scotty and I just watched just last week, not even knowing obviously that you were going to be on because you're Jason's guest. We watched Mission to Mars.
I was in that.
And I was like, there's Don again. And you're brilliant in it.
Always.
Yeah. Because I'll watch anything sci-fi.
I am picking up on surprise in Sean's voice, though. Right? When he says, and you're brilliant.
It was like,
no.
You were pretty good.
No,
I meant to Will's point.
I didn't know you were an actor.
You're
and that you could grow facial hair. I thought it was only Jason who could do that.
This is not really facial hair. This is disgusting.
No, it was great. You're great.
So, Don,
I'm in Atlanta. Will, to answer your question, I'm in Atlanta.
You're in Atlanta.
And what's happening there in Atlanta? Working on something, no doubt?
I'm working on something. It's a project called Fight Night. And I am in this wonderful project with who you guys had on the show, Kevin Hart, Sam Jackson, Taraji Henson, Terrence Howard.
Wow.
Yeah, it's it should be. I'm looking forward to it. I've shot one day, so I'm looking forward to.
So you can still be fired. They can still easily reshoot one day at work.
Yeah, it's early enough.
Yeah, so watch it.
I've been replaced before. It wouldn't be the first time. No.
Have you?
No.
I've been replaced before.
Oh,
I have.
I didn't mean to bring up something painful.
I love that Don's like, no, I haven't.
Nope,
Sorry, I was just kidding.
Of course not.
Mine was a.
Why do you think I'm on your show?
Mine was the cruelest though, because I worked my nards off on this pilot. We shot the pilot. It went well, so I thought. And then, like a couple of days before the big announcements happen about whether pilots are going to get picked up to go to series, I get a call from my agent saying, "You are going to." Good news, bad news. Good news is the show got picked up. And I said, unbelievable. He goes, here, let me finish. The bad news is that they're going to go a different direction with your character. And I said, okay. 2 days later, found out they're actually not picking up the show. So could you, it's just like the worst 48 hours.
So good,
right?
bad, good.
Well,
good,
but I could have been.
I agree with Don.
I could have been
good,
spared.
bad,
I could have been spared all of it by just them saying, well, we're not picking up the show. Basically, we're all fired, But
are you still with this agent?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Exactly. No. That's 3 or 4 ago.
But it's good to know. I like it is personal a little bit because they were like, hey, we know the show's not getting picked up, but let's let Bateman know that even if it did, he wasn't coming away.
Yeah.
In
the event that this is going forward, not you.
I've been fired too. I got fired off a pilot that went to series the year before we started Arrested Development.
Oh, God bless.
And had I not been, I would have been stuck on that show. Don, wait a second. So you're in Atlanta. You're doing this thing with Sam Jackson. Are you potentially playing golf with Sam today?
Sam has been on IR for a minute. I hope he comes off because I would love to. We used to play a lot, but
what's IR?
He's nursing an injury or two.
Injured reserve.
Fingers crossed.
How's his game?
Sam was like a 4.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Wow.
There's all these people. The game is just tidy. So easy to so many people.
Well, Sam famously, whenever he would get a gig, a part of his contract was they had to get him a membership to whatever local course there was because he's such a freak about it.
Oh, so really? No shit?
Yeah, he played everywhere. I was like, you can do that? Sam also was, Mr. If you force me, you're bringing me $900 in cash in an envelope the next day like a drug deal. I was like, This dude's my hero.
Yeah, that's
by
always
the way,
good.
Jason, right now, you see, you look down, he's just gone on his phone on speed dial to CAA right now. And he's like, what the fuck? What are you guys?
About 12 country clubs short, damn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now, how do you like Atlanta? I've worked there a lot, and I always thought that it was not going to be a place for me. And every time I work there, I just love it more and more and more. Are you enjoying yourself there? You've worked there a bunch, yes?
I've worked here a bunch because a lot of the Marvel stuff was here.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
And I've kind of been around it a little bit more. But this is probably the longest stretch that I'm going to be here. So I'm looking forward to getting up to the mountains and going to the lakes and just checking it all out.
So I did a movie there a long time ago in Atlanta during the summer. Did you guys shoot all those Marvel movies in the summertime? Because you can't breathe. It's so hot.
Hot Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you're in those costumes and running around in that heat? Is that what it is?
And you're in space?
Yeah. I think that was there's a callback. There's a callback. Good one.
No, but isn't that brutal?
Yeah, it's brutal. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, where 98 degrees and 98% humidity. So I was born for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not fun. But right now it's very cold. Actually,
it gets cold there. I like it too. I like it too. I like JB. I spent the last few years. Last year, I spent 6 months, I think, almost in Atlanta, and I really liked it. I really liked the people. Once you find a kind of a good zone where you find your stuff and whatever, I liked it a lot.
You gotta find a zone.
But I was down in right near sort of Little 5 Points, all in there. That's where I was staying. It was awesome. A lot of great restaurants and
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Jason, have you had enough?
Yeah, that's
you opened it.
Sorry. It's like
You opened it. You opened it. This is like a
Don,
fucking court case.
good sleep last night, Don?
You know, what's hilarious when Sean was talking about that is I was very jealous because I did not sleep well last night.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Fucking
had
worst
some-
episode we've ever recorded. Right, we're
Already
17
from
minutes
what
into
I
the
did or
worst.
from what
No,
Sean-
it's all my
whose
fault.
fault is
All
it?
my fault. I'm talking about fucking Atlanta. We're talking about the weather. We're talking about sleep. It's like, let's get to something hard hitting. Now, somebody told me the other day that Kansas
Oh,
City,
here we go.
Kansas City is actually split right down the middle, the border between Kansas and Missouri.
You
and
still
the
don't have it.
Kansas City-
JB, you still
This
don't
is-
have it.
yeah,
You
that's
still
a
haven't
whiff.
got it.
That's a whiff.
No,
No.
help me,
No.
people.
No. There's one in Kansas and there's a Kansas City in Missouri.
Missouri.
They're in two different. I mean, they're close.
Wait,
but
there's
they're
two
not-
different places called Kansas City.
Oh my god.
No, honestly.
I know. Dude,
Don's about to leave.
Don, this is every day, by the way.
This is how
No,
it
I swear
goes.
to I'm 54 years old, and this is. I'm just now getting clarity on this. Let's do it
Yeah.
publicly. There are
Yes.
two places called Kansas City. One's in Missouri, one's in Kansas.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which one's got the
There is
Chiefs?
a border.
Which one's got the Royals?
Missouri.
Missouri's got what?
Let me just say this. Don, take a look at JB's face. Now,
Yeah.
JB, walk Don through the gummy routine. This is going to explain a lot. Walk him through the timing and the
Guys,
amount.
I'm still up. I'm still up
Okay.
from last night's chew. No, now
We
okay.
talked
Well,
about
then
this a little bit on the golf course. by
I
the
don't
way,
remember.
Jason. I don't know if you remember. I'm sure you don't remember because your gummy program is
no,
that.
I never when I'm golfing. Golfing's serious business.
You said that.
Now
too.
wait a second. What sports team does Kansas City, Kansas
Oh my God.
have? The Royals?
He's here.
Is it the Royals?
Dude, it's crazy.
No, honestly. Is it the Royals? Or in
No,
Kansas
that's
City?
also
Do you want
Kansas?
to ask
Missouri.
Siri? Do we want to just go to like the
So
interwebs?
Kansas City, Kansas has nothing. Is that correct?
Yeah.
No sports teams. No professional sports teams.
Yeah, man.
I'll let it
Let's
rest now.
just look it up. Man.
Okay. I hope
then I
we
wanna
get a
get
bunch
to know
of
Don.
honestly,
Look, they're all
you might
looking
be
it
right.
up, America.
I've never looked into it this deeply. You might be absolutely right. I just
think
know
I
that
am.
I've always
He's not
claimed the
right.
Chiefs.
He's not right. No,
I
you're
think
right.
Kansas
You're
City,
from
Kansas has the Royals.
Are there
You're-
any sports teams in Kansas City, Kansas?
I'm so sorry, America. And specifically,
Kansas City has had teams in all 5 of the major professional sports leagues. 3 major leagues remain
Okay,
today.
is that Missouri or is that Kansas?
That's Kansas City, Kansas.
Okay.
Wait, who's in Kansas City, Kansas?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Boy, this is
No,
again.
this is Kansas City.
We're gonna
Missouri.
pick this up. Hey, Don, how'd you get started in the business?
Yeah, no. I want to know.
JB,
So,
fuck you. You have
I want to know that.
a little porn called Donchalant, and
No, I do want to know because to me, I've seen you in so many things, and like Will said, always brilliant. Like to me, you were born on screen. Like I don't know anything about you other than the.
I was
few times-
born on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than we run into each other a few times and had lovely conversations. But tell me, how did you get like you were in theater in high school?
Well, sidebar, we played around with doing a movie together at one point.
I know,
remember.
I
I don't know if
remember
you ever
that.
got that off.
I did. It didn't do. Yeah.
Did you get it off?
Yeah, it didn't do well. But thank you for your
Oh, okay.
consideration.
Next subject. Next subject.
Yes, yes.
Way to dodge a bullet, Don.
I was trying to give a compliment and went right in the trash bin.
You ducked one there.
No, but were you interested in high school? Like what age? How early did you get the bug?
So I kind of got the early acting bug. I think I was in sixth grade. I was Templeton the Rat in a production of Charlotte's Web that was written about extensively in the Denver, Colorado periodicals. You can look it up. I'm sure it's still
Sure,
there.
no, I don't have time.
Templeton
And I was
the
singled
rat.
out. I'm just saying I was singled out. So
The standout was the rat.
yeah. And when Cheadle hits the stage, hold on to your so I did that, but I was also doing music kind of at the same time. That's when I got involved in playing my saxophone and instrumental jazz, and so I kind of was on these 2 tracks of really studying music. And when I went to high school, I had a great acting coach, a great acting teacher, a great drama class, and I was in a really good jazz band. So I was kind of on these 2 tracks. And when I graduated from high school, I had applied for both things, to go into music, to go into vocal jazz, to go into instrumental jazz, and also to study acting and theater acting.
That's cool.
And I got some scholarship money from a bunch of different places. And I kind of made
For acting or music or both?
Both. I had both.
Wow.
But I kind of made not only a weather choice, but I think I made a choice based on what I believed I was going to be able to actually do. Because I grew up with musicians now who are like professional musicians and who are hugely successful and incredible. And I knew what it was going to take to actually be able to do that, go down that road and, shedding and learning theory and doing all of those things that I was like, I know I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably going to spend my time more being out of the house, being with other people, and in pursuing acting. And I loved it equally. So I kind of went up that road. But
there's definitely science and math to music that you have to want to.
And I think I was intimidated by it a little bit, to be honest. I think I was a little, I'd gotten by. I had really good ear, and I'd gotten by on really being able to hear music rather than understanding how it broke down. And I would kind of wide-eye when I'd get into the weeds on that.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
It's like I kind of ran to something that I felt more comfortable with. But it's funny that the music has kind of come back around, and that's become a bigger part of my career now, too.
But Don, did you ever, and Sean, forgive me for taking your question, but did you ever think about, kind of like when that guy dropped the chocolate in the tub of peanut butter and they came up with the Reese's, did you ever think of taking the music and dumping that into the theater and going into musical theater, Sean? 5, 6, 7, 8. Did that ever? Did you ever get into that stuff?
Oh, he sure did. Let's talk about the Tonys. Go ahead.
Oh.
Well, I've never gotten one.
No, but I did produce
the
that's
Tonys, award-winning show called Strange Loop.
Yes.
So
my God. Cool. That's right.
Yeah.
With Barbara Whitman.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And she produced the play I just did. That's right.
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
Thank you. Crazy, great show.
Yes. But were you yourself at like in high school or afterwards in college?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. 100%. I mean, when I graduated high school, the choice I made was I came to California and I studied at California Institute of the Arts. And we, did everything there. Musicals and dramas and classical pieces. We did everything. It was really a great experience for me and a place to be able to try everything and make a lot of mistakes and not get fired for it as a result.
Get ready, because I love horrible theater stories, things that go wrong. So just get one ready.
Oh, yeah. They're the best. You can't wait.
Before we get to one of those, can you guys extend your tolerance for my lack of intelligence again?
Is Kansas City, are you going to go to the Chiefs and the Royals again?
It's worn pretty thin at this point. It's stretched very, very
don't
thin.
bring that
So
back.
if I'm on the border... So jazz. Talk to me about jazz. Now, I'm a big music fan, and specifically classical music. And so I feel like if I love classical music, I could really love jazz because it's a little easier to love. It's a little bit more toe-tappy. But I got to understand it a little bit more. And I'm hearing that jazz, its real appeal is knowing that for the most part, it's improvised. Is that correct, or is it more traditionally written out and there's sheet music for it?
That is a component of it. And I think the umbrella of jazz under that are many, many subdivisions and categories. It's a huge sort of a blanket term, especially by now.
Okay.
If you think of somebody like Robert Glasper, who I won a Grammy with for producing the album Miles Ahead. Anyway.
Sorry, your cough sounds terrible. Your cough sounds really
my second Grammy. Sorry.
You got a really terrible cough.
Yeah. Thanks, Will. Let me get a little water here.
Wait, are you close to an EGOT?
2 Grammys.
Oh, now it's clear. Your throat's clear now.
I want to get that looked at.
Okay, that's good now.
Do you have a nomination EGOT? I think you do. Yes?
I have a nomination EGOT, yes, but not.
Wow.
I don't have them all.
Pretty fucking good.
But like Rob Glasper, you look at his music, and he spans the globe of what his musical knowledge is and his experience.
Yeah.
And he does popular stuff, black radio, which is sort of, I think you would think of more as like R&B influenced, and then he does straight ahead, jazz, some standards, and he does everything in between. So I think if you were to ask a musician like that what jazz is, or even if you were going to go back and ask, Miles Davis what jazz was, he hated that word. He was like, that's a word to box somebody in. It's about good music. It's about social music. So I think there are different, like when I get in the car and, the driver taking you somewhere is like, let's put on some jazz. And he puts on smooth jazz. It's like, I want to shoot him.
Yeah.
I hate
Right.
it.
I'm the same.
Don, you have to forgive Jason because they don't do explanations of jazz on the Hollywood Reporter homepage, so that he wouldn't read it. But let me just say this: we did this bit in our show Flaked. Nothing, huh? Okay, so where we did this guy's getting ready to have this girl over for a date, and his buddy suggests he put jazz on, and they look at each other and they're like, and they're unsure, and he goes, "I'm not sure where I fall on jazz," and our joke was always that like, I can't figure out if it's cool to say I do like it or if it's cool to say I don't like it, and I'm still trying to decide where I land on that.
Yeah.
Right?
Me too. Like, I just feel like everyone says you should go to New Orleans for the jazz festival, or everyone you should listen
and that's
to
a very specific kind of jazz.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm more like, I'm open to it if there's a melody that I can hum back, like a song.
Right.
I'm not open to the...
Fair enough. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the jazz
Free.
that's just people just playing.
Sort of
and on and on.
fusion-y, improvised fusion. Is that
Yeah,
would
because
that
I
even
can't
be
latch
a thing?
on to anything.
You can't whack off to anything?
What? What did he say?
I love it all because if you're really, if you're
Jazz you can whack
from
to.
the
Sorry.
jazz,
No, latch onto.
grab your thing and have some fun.
Yeah.
New channel.
JB, you heard it. JB, you heard it too, right? The same
I think
way
I
that
might
did.
have.
Yeah.
But so Don, you're learning the saxophone at an early age. That gets you into music. That's eventually you find an appreciation for Miles Davis, and then that project comes about. That was what was that, a documentary that you produced or
No, a movie,
a film?
movie,
Yes,
yeah.
you played him. Yes.
Yes.
We're not good journalists.
Brilliantly. And I remember you telling me when I ran into you, you were working on that. You were so
Some
great.
nominations or even some wins for that, I believe.
Well, that was the Grammy that we got for the soundtrack, which is really cool. The album we put together with Rob Glassberg. He and I put that together, so that was really cool. But yeah, I think it's a big category. Talk about jokes on shows. We had one on Black Monday where I'm talking to. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to Regina, Dawn, the character's Dawn, about it. And she goes, yeah, I can never get into jazz. It just always sounds like a bunch of instruments thrown down a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
Now, in my incredible research, did you really work on the Fresh Prince?
Funny enough, I did. I was on one of the first episodes of Fresh Prince, and I have a funny pilot firing story too.
I love it.
About a pilot that didn't go. So I did I think it was the second or third episode of the Fresh Prince, where Will was still super green. He's like mouthing everyone's words, along with his. So he'd say his line, and then he's staring at you, and you'd say your line, and
He's mouthing it.
That's such a thing. We've all worked with people who do that. It's such an
Yes.
actor thing, right?
Yeah.
Where you're like, are you mouthing my dialogue to me as I'm saying it?
Yeah. So he was so studious. He knew everybody's lines, and then he would like mouth everybody's lines. But so we did that one, and by the third or fourth show, the creators, Susan and Andy Borowitz, who were the head writers on the show, they said, we want to do a show around you. Not necessarily based on the character that you're playing on this, but we just want to do a show around you. And I was like, okay, so that's cool. So they wrote this show.
Wow. How old were you?
When I did Fresh Prince.
Yeah, early 20s.
Is that really germane to the story?
I think
you're just going to come
when
in
you
with
get
the how
offered your
old
own
were
show.
you?
It's like,
I was
what?
6, okay? I was fucking 6.
No, he's just jealous. He's just jealous because he's like, when are you getting offers for your own show? And he's like, I worked my whole life. Michael Landon didn't create a show for me. Sorry, JB. I know that guy.
Michael Landon. So third day, they come down. They're like, we want to do the show. I said, okay, great. So they wrote this pilot. We shot the pilot. It's called In the House. I wrote the theme song to the thing.
Wow, cool.
It was just, everything was great.
Heavy saxophone.
Super, super heavy saxophone. Yeah. It was on the schedule. And I'm pretty I don't believe it until I see it. And I just kind of wasn't believing that it was real. And also it just was a huge thing. It was the biggest thing that had happened in my career at that point. I was like, something's telling me this isn't real.
Right.
But it was on the schedule. It was going. So the day before, I got this fateful call. I gave my brother my car. I was like, hey, it's on. Take the car. I'm about to have this huge windfall.
Yeah.
I'm ready. And the next day I got a call and they said it's off the schedule. It was how old I was Brandon Tartikoff was still running NBC at that time.
Okay,
So
we're late 80s.
For everybody, I don't know if people are listening may not know.
Yeah.
Brandon,
But when he stepped down and Warren Littlefield came in, he killed all the shows that were under Brandon,
Warren.
and that was one of them. That was one of the casualties.
You know, Sean, you told me a story, and correct me if I'm wrong, about where you shot the pilot because they had mignonette sauce instead of cocktail sauce for your oysters. Is that true? And you guys were about to leave Van Nuys, and you were so mad. You shot because you're like, I hate mignonette sauce. I like cocktail sauce. And you shot the pilot and left him on the tarmac.
But I spared the co-pilot.
As a lesson, so he could live to tell the story to other pilots to get the sauces right.
Now, all right. So now, Don, could you imagine if that show had taken off, became a big success? You would have been a big sitcom star. I wonder where your career would have gone.
Yeah,
and what
I was thinking the same thing.
So going back before that, was there another significant fork in the road, either where you grew up, like a fateful move to a certain city, or what your parents were doing or saying or siblings, where you could have easily seen, if I just simply gone right instead of left, I would be a veterinarian today, or I would be an architect today? Or was there a fork that
That's such a good question.
Thank you.
I mean, it's crazy that my fallback was music. Like, if this acting thing doesn't work out, I'll be a jazz musician. That'll get me there. Yeah. It's like, so, I mean, that's where I was trending. That's what I wanted to do. And quite honestly, there's still no greater pleasure that I have, in any sort of performance capacity than being with musicians and creating music.
Really?
That's, to me, the highest.
I love
it.
It
is. Cool. It really is. I think because of, as you were talking about improvisation, that you're creating things spontaneously. I don't know what it's doing biochemically to you, but I'm sure if you have electrodes on and, they were testing you, you're getting dopamine hits that are just through the roof because it's just so alive.
Yeah. And it necessitates this connection with these fellow, pardon the term, artists that you're kind of communicating without speaking, and there's a handoff and a yes and thing. You get that also in acting, but
you do. And there's also that thing you do when you perform live, when you also get that when you get that feedback from an audience when you're on stage, and you get that thing, and it starts to inform you a little bit. Yeah. They become part of your creative process because you get juice from that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. You do. Yeah. And it transcends language, and it transcends, the English, Spanish. We can all speak this language. And there's a big unifying thing that it does that's just like beyond.
I had the same thing, Don. I always had music to fall back on should the acting thing, and I still have the music to fall back on if the acting thing doesn't work out. But I always thought my fallback was going to be, I'll just be a pop star.
You
can sing your ass off, so you had a shot.
Well, no, but
let's
but
play
when
it.
I was
Can
younger,
we just play it? Could just play him a little bit of it right now. We do this every once in a while, Don. Sean.
Now, Don,
Bennett's going to find it for us. He's going to play it before Don leaves. Bennett or Rob are going to play it.
Drop that needle, Bennett.
Hey, Don, do you have a place where you go, like Woody Allen famously took his clarinet out, I don't know, once a week or whatever, and that's not a
not a euphemism.
Oh, nice.
Not a euphemism.
Right in there, Will.
But
you're the best. You're my new favorite guy on the podcast.
Do you have a place where you go whip out your sax and go play it?
Fucking hang on, man.
I just said Will got that one. You don't have to jump on top of Will's thing.
I'm trying to piggyback on that.
Hey, you hear what I did? Jump on top of Will's thing? I'm tripling up on it. Your turn, Sean. Get in there. Ooh, that was a good one, too.
I'll take it all.
Do you have...
I'll take it all.
There it is. Do you have a band that you play with or a jazz club that you go to every once in a while?
No, and I've been like bouncing around on different. So I played the sax, and then I didn't do that. When I went to Cal Arts, it was kind of like a conservatory. The amount of time that you had to spend on all that, there was no time really to do anything but theater and voice and movement and dance and all that stuff. So I just kind of dropped it, and then I was in New York doing a play, and I walked by a pawn shop, and I saw this beautiful tenor sax, and I was like, I'm gonna pick it back up again. I'm going to see if I have any facility because, you lose your embouchure, you lose that musculature to be able to play it. It's hard to get it back. So I started playing it again. It sounded terrible. I was like, no, just hang out and just like stay with it. So I started doing that. And then I took a gig, actually, the Rat Pack movie, and playing Sammy Davis Jr., who played drums and played trumpet and, gun twirled and could play piano.
Yeah.
And so I kind of went back to school again, having having lessons from all of these teachers to learn how to do all these different things.
Wow.
And that's when I started trying to pick up the trumpet, which became something that I didn't know I was going to need later when I did the Miles Davis thing. So I've been playing bass more than anything lately, and piano more than anything lately.
That's great.
And I haven't gone back to the sax. I bought a really beautiful brand new sax and let this dude play it, and he just recorded an album with it. And it's like, so it's always in the periphery somewhere, but I haven't, I think the most amazing experience I had in musical experience in the last couple of years was Rob Glasper was he was recording something. He said, hey, come by, come listen. And I said, yeah, keep a track open because I'm going to bring the bass and I'm just going to kill you guys with some shit. So just keep the track open. And I was completely joking. And so I came over and I listened to him for a while and he goes, okay, here's the bass. Let's go. I said, no, I was joking. I don't want to play. He's like, oh no, you're going to play. And it became sort of like, trial by fire. And I don't play like that. But when you play with great musicians, that they lift you up.
Yeah.
And
it's just like acting.
So
I wish I could find that.
Yeah.
People who lift me up. It's fucking unbelievable. I'm just dragging these two.
These guys.
Don, you seem to be like so great at surrounding your life with the things that mean, have great value to you: music, acting, family. You always seem to be in a great mood too. Like golf. Yeah. How do you do that? How do you, for people who don't know how to do that, where they're like, I'm in this rut. Like, to us, we've all found the thing that we love to do, or things we love to do.
Yeah.
How did you learn how to gravitate towards the good versus the bad? The things that are good for you, the things that fill your soul.
This is
rather
a question. This is a question. This is an interviewer, Will. This is somebody who knows how to shape a question, okay? Sorry. Go ahead, Don.
I love the commentary.
I'm just here for the pot shots from the sideline, man. You know that.
Will's killing, and you're killing the pot shots from the sideline, by the way.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Don't encourage him.
I honestly have to attribute a lot of it to my upbringing. I was very fortunate to have, and people get to it however they get to it. I was very fortunate to have really solid parents, really sort of, corny, traditional picket fence, the 3.5 kids and a dog and the whole thing. I really was able to grow up like that with parents that never dissuaded me from going after what I wanted to go after.
That's great.
I think it was, really fortunate that my mom was sort of a frustrated, performer, a frustrated singer. So when I wanted to be an actor, she was like, yes, go after that.
Did you have an older sibling that knocked the crap out of you when you got too big?
Yeah, well, she's a girl, so I took advantage of the different muscles. I was stronger than her. And then we moved into weapons, and that's when it's like, she's leveled the playing field, so we got to chill out, and that's when we stopped fighting. But just really close knit family, and it's something I think I just wanted to replicate in my life, and I'm really lucky that I have friends from when I was in elementary school still, and from college, and the people that I'm close to are still in my life. And I think we all know people who have gotten to a certain place and have looked around and they don't know anybody no one that around them has been around them for 5 years. And you go, that person's probably going to have some problems. So you need people who will laugh at you and say, you're not important, chill out.
I don't keep those people around because people can't breathe the air up here the way I can.
Yeah, you're one of those people we were talking about, Will.
The air is so thin up here. It's so rarefied that I can bear. I'm handing out masks to these two because I'm like, guys, we're going on a ride. We're going somewhere.
We're going down, or we're going down.
No, now, it's so important. I love that. It is a measure of somebody, by the way, how many old friends they have from back in the day. And I think I'm with you on that. I think it's really great. I've got a lot of my old buddies too.
Yeah. Now, Don, I got a question here. You've been a part of so many incredible projects. I want to know
It's crazy.
if I want to know
it's
if
amazing.
any of them felt
Thank you.
or smelt like turds right in the middle of it, and you were shocked at the end of it that it turned
That's
out
a
so
good
well.
question.
Projects like Crash.
Traffic.
Oceans 11, 12, or 13, Traffic,
Yeah.
Out of Sight,
Sure.
Boogie
Yeah.
Nights. I mean, any of the Marvel stuff. Did any of them just like go, oh, Jesus, what did I do here?
I think I've had the opposite where I'm like, this thing's going to crush. And then it comes out and I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much.
Not so much. Right.
I mean, we don't know, right? You just go in with, your best, you've made the best decision you could and you go in and throw everything into it. And then sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But I've never, I've always believed that the thing I've said yes to has value and it's going to be good and the experiences. And then it turns into being what it's going to be. I've been really fortunate to have really, really great experiences. I've had very few, experiences where it's a toxic set and people are horrible. I've just been very, very, the things I've gravitated toward have gotten made, and I've just been very, very fortunate. I've had a very blessed career.
You've clearly got a nice connection going with Steven Soderbergh, yeah?
Yeah.
I heard the set of Chernobyl was toxic.
Nice, Will.
Hey,
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
so-
a great show. by the way.
But you
A fucking
you and
great show.
you and
Great
Soderbergh have a great rhythm going. Yeah, you see working with him again in the future, probably. Yes, of course, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have stuff. We're trying to develop things as we speak. There's a couple things.
I love Out of Sight is such a great fucking movie, man.
Isn't it good? So
it's
underrated and
It's
overlooked.
such a good movie.
Yeah.
God damn it. Despite Clooney's looks, it's
No, I know
so
they're tough
good.
to get around.
It's
But
tough.
Soderbergh's such a beast. What a good guy too. But I mean,
Yeah.
like writing and directing and camera operating and editing, and I would imagine that's got to be an easy voice to follow, considering he's
Was
kind of.
this? Are you trying to dovetail into you? Because that's
No.
what you're doing
That's
now?
what I'd like to do.
But,
I'd like to be
but can I
as good as
take
him.
a minute to honestly
Here
actually?
you go.
Here we
Spike
go.
it. Spike it. He served it up. You might as
There
well
you go.
spike it.
Guys, take a
I
second.
do want to spike it.
Yeah.
I'm a big Jason Bateman fan. I'm just gonna say I'm a big Jason Bateman fan, and
Okay.
I'm really I love everything that I'm seeing you do. And I saw you in a round table talking about understanding as an actor what you were going to be doing as an editor, and knowing when you get into the editing room what you're going to be able to use and not use, and how you're going to craft your performance based on that. And I was like,
Well,
that's
but-
so fucking smart and such a cheat. By
Yeah,
the
it's
way.
really fun. It's really fun because he lives his personal life like an editor too. So he's always thinking about the
So
results.
he's trying to cut you
And you're like,
off.
Fuck off, man.
Trimming you. Well, now what Don's doing here is he's dovetailing into his accomplishments as a director as well. That he has.
Not at
I
all.
wanted to get into
Yeah,
it.
he's gone ahead and he's taken all the incredible set experience he's had and lent that to the directing experience, right?
I'll
And
never do it
made
again.
everybody's life a lot easier, I would imagine.
You'll never do it again?
Do you oh, come
I'll
on.
never do it again.
Why not?
Bullshit.
Why?
You
I
must
don't
love it.
anticipate ever doing it again.
Why?
Well, come on. You've done it a handful of times at least. And
That
you're,
was enough.
it's really.
What-
too much.
Why?
Is it the workload or the pressure or the time commitment or what?
It's the pressure.
Why?
Honestly, it's the pressure. I think, my agent one time said, good actors are just like, can be, and sometimes need to just be hard sons of bitches. They just have to be able to, not necessarily in how they deal with people, but you have to have the ability to have stuff kind of roll off and be thick-skinned and not have it be, penetrate and keep moving. And I think I'm more like sort of bandied about by the things that happen and the things I wasn't able to get. And I just, and it's something that I'm learned about myself going through that experience. I'm like, oh, well, I'm a lot more porous in that regard than I thought I was.
As an actor, you can ignore a lot of drama or problems or complications with the production, and you just kind of sit in your trailer, and then someone else will figure it out. As a director, you can't hide from anything.
None of those.
Don, you bring up a really good point, though. It is true. Actors, as we know, historically, you take a lot of heat, and people go like, "Oh, fucking actors," or you hear people write like, even people you grew up with, like, "What's your life like now? You're an actor." You see that people have this sort of thing, and I always say, and they're like, "Oh yeah, but you're just an actor," and I'm thinking like, yeah, I am an actor. I'm friends with tons of actors. They're some of the most creative, amazing people. And on top of that, to what you were saying, they're also, it is a tough road, as you know, from when you're younger to start to do the things that you want to do. And you do put up with a ton of disappointment. You get kicked in the nards on a daily basis. Yeah. My own experience, I lived in New York for 10 years and was trying to get fucking work and just got kicked in the nards. And then as I'd go down to wincing in pain from getting kicked in the nuts, I'd get kicked in the face. Oh. Like Jason's like you saying, like the show's not, here's the benefit, you're fired. And then the next day the show's fucking gone. And you're like, fuck, I didn't need those 2 kicks.
Yeah, right.
And by the way, and it's not once a year. It's like 2-3 times a week for years.
And that's if things are going well for you, because those 2 or 3 rejections each week mean you got 2 or 3 auditions that week, which is really good.
Yeah, and I'm not saying to feel sorry for it, but it is right, Don. It's a tough. You do have to have a little bit of you show your mettle a little bit.
Well, for me, I really could. I'd sound like an idiot, Aaron. Complaining about anything about my acting career, because again, I was super, super fortunate. I've never done anything but this to support myself. I got my first job when I was still in college. In my junior year, I got a gig. I did get fired from a job. That was actually the first job. I got an AT&T commercial where a kid was supposed to be on the phone and sort of trying to dodge the questions that his mom was asking because he was not doing so well. She goes, "How are your grades?" And he's like, "My grades? I can't hear you. This connection is bad." She's like, "No, I can hear you great." And it was AT&T. You can't fake the funk. Like one of those things. So I was I was going out of the door to do this audition, and the phone rang in the hallway, and I just kind of knew it was for me. And I picked it up, and it was my agent. She goes, "Don, bad news. They're not going to use you in the spot." I was like, "What? Why?" She goes, "They don't want to portray a black kid as failing out of college." I was like, "So they're going to give a white kid my job?"
Wow, the irony of that.
Boy. That's what's going to happen. So that I actually did get fired from a job I got. That was the first one. But for me, the acting thing has been, like I said, I've been very blessed, very fortunate. But the directing part of it, it's really just, it's been these particular experiences I've had. Not when I've directed my show. That's a little bit more of a comfort zone, a little bit more support I've had, and a little bit more resources and people to rely on. But, we made Miles Ahead for $8.5 million in a town that had, only done one other movie before that, where we would show up and there was like no redundancy in the departments, We'd have 2 cameras and only 1 cameraman. I'd be like, "Where's Phil?" It's like, "Oh, he took a commercial in Dayton."
Exactly.
Coming in one day, and I was like, we had her in the scene. She's like, "Yeah, she didn't want to come today." I'm like, "But she's in the scene." They're like, she doesn't want to come." So I'm like, put this woman in the dress, turn her back to the camera. Like every day it was something like that.
Always solving problems.
But the problems that didn't make sense, like the fire alarm going off, and then the actual fireman coming in while we're shooting the scene. And so, I guess we'll shoot this MOS and just mime all these things. We'll do it in post. I get, just every day it was something like that. My wife came out to see me and she said, "You can't do this anymore. I lost weight." It was just, just bad. So I have a lot of scar tissue. So maybe if I get, some sort of procedure where I can scrape that off, I'll try it again.
For the emotional scars. I have a question just about your acting style and approach, because when I first saw Ocean's 11, and which you were brilliant in, I'm not making this up, like halfway through the movie, because of your accent, I was like, "Oh, wait, is that Don Cheadle?" Like, you didn't do anything to your appearance. You just changed your kind of way. I don't know how to describe it. And it's amazing what just an accent can do. How did you find the trust to do that? Why that character like that? And how do you do that, like in any character you approach?
It was written like that, and I was going to change it. And my manager at that point said, "There aren't black British people?" I was like, "Oh, yeah." She's like, "So why don't you just do it as how it's written?" And I was like, "Fuck."
Oh, so it was written
I'll try it. And so while I'm in my trailer with, a vocal coach, a speech coach, going over like diphthongs and schwas and stuff, they're out playing basketball. I'm like sitting in my trailer watching them play poker and have fun. And I'm like, no, this word, no, no, no.
Sean, stand up. Sean, stand up real quick. Sean's wearing a diphthong. Let's stand up real quick.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice diphthong. But I was famously murdered. People are split right in the middle on that. The people that hate that, hate it. When I was in London, I almost had to get security because people wanted to kill me.
Your
based
accent?
on how bad they thought that accent.
Oh, the accent in Ocean. Why?
They hated it and me. People literally drove. They would see me and come across 4 lanes of traffic to pull up next to me to scream at me about how bad the accent was. I was like,
oh my God, I totally bought it. I totally bought it.
Is it safe to say you'll never do another British accent again?
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, doing an accent, I believe that would be
takes a lot of
very,
guts.
very tough for me because you're acting twice, right? You got to do performance and you got to do the accent.
And somehow.
So would you make them pay twice, Jay? I know Jay very well. Would you make them pay twice?
I would like to. I would like to.
What are we going to say, Don?
No, I'm just going to say, and some of them, fit better than others that I've attempted to take on, But they're all, like you said, it's all tricky. Like you're kind of acting through a mask and you're trying to make that mask be as real and as facile as you can. It's tricky.
Right.
Now, all of these incredibly high-profile films, which one do you think gave you the most useful bounce? Was it Devil in the Blue Dress? Yeah,
I would guess Devil in the Blue Dress was probably. I was on picket fences for a couple years before that.
Oh wow!
I was 12th on the call sheet, and you guys know what that is. I'm sitting in the trailer all day, and they're like, "We're coming to you next. We're coming to you next," and they're like, "Oh no, we're not going to use you today." And you'd been in the trailer for 12 hours, so I started writing. That's when I started writing, and just as survival,
right?
Just to not go crazy.
But then along comes this film with Denzel Washington, and it was. Did you leave that project with any pearls of wisdom from Mr. Washington?
I mean, it was an incredible experience. It was directed by Carl Franklin, who I did his AFI thesis project. His ASI, his graduation project. So I had known him from before. So that was really old home and felt great. And Denzel and I, from the audition on, which is online actually. Our audition is online.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And so is that pilot that I mentioned, by the way. People find shit and upload everything. Yeah. But we just had a great time. And of course, I was just in awe of him and, worked as hard as I've ever worked on anything to make sure I was in the pocket, when I was with him. I didn't come out. I was super methody. I was not great character. I was mouse all the time. I just stayed in it. And I had a great experience. I love that movie and I love that experience.
Would you, if you had, say you had a scene with because you're Denzel now to a young actor. If you were to do a film with it, what would you say to a young actor today that you wish you'd known back when you were just starting out? Anything.
Stay out of my fucking light.
Right, exactly. Don't you upstage me or shadow me.
Don't you dare attempt to overshadow me.
But we do have a tendency to overcomplicate things, right? And things get more simplistic as we get older. I wondered, aside from just that generality, is there anything specific? I'm trying to think myself what I would tell somebody,
Probably step away from my BMW. Would that be something?
Yeah. Which of your BMWs, Mr.
Yeah. That's a great. That's very good.
I just think that I think people underestimate, to what Will was saying earlier, what we really do. I think people think it's super, super easy, and then they try it, and they're like, "Oh, you're actually trying to be very naturalistic inside a completely unnatural environment where somebody's standing in your eye line chewing gum and, somebody else is making noise off and somebody's, walkie-talkies going off and you've got to act like this is the first time you've ever done or said any of these things. And
it's so weird.
I think that you only do that well if you're really prepared. and you've really done your homework, and you're not here just because you think it's going to be cool to cut line at a restaurant. You know, it's like,
right.
This is really. We're not rocket scientists, and we're not jumping out of airplanes or whatever. The hardest shit there is to do or ditch digging, but there is a craft.
We can play them.
That's what we play the shit out of, and we learn about them. That's another thing. Good actors are students, so we're always in the lab, right? We're always trying to, if I play a doctor, I'm going to read up on doctors. I'm going to follow doctors. I'm going to go to hospitals. I'm going to try to sit next to them. If I'm playing a cop, I'm going to do a ride along. So I feel like that part of it often gets overlooked, that we're always in school. We're always trying to learn new things.
So true.
I think that's a great boon for us as artists, that we're always expanding ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, Sean doesn't want you to get away without, searching your memory for a really tough theater story. Like forgetting your lines or trying to
Something
give,
going wrong. Anything going wrong.
A sandbag fell from above,
What?
and I landed in the first row in the woman's lap, and she said, "You think you're drunk? Wait till O'Toole comes out," or something like that, right, Sean? Is that what you want?
You were at that performance.
Of course.
You were there.
That's exactly right.
But I said, wait till my tool comes out.
Yes!
Double guns. Double guns.
Donchalant!
Donchalant strikes again. Is that you, Sean?
Oh, this is me singing, yeah. It's horrible.
Here we go.
As I glide through the back door.
It's so bad. Okay.
Hang on.
That's enough.
Sean.
Is that tabla? Is that some tabla?
It's okay. That's good.
You know what? It's like Jimmy Somerville from Bronski Beat was put in the back of a van and driven to Beirut and forced to make a fucking Middle Eastern dance record.
Jimmy Somerville in Beirut. That was the name of the album.
Oh, Sean.
Yeah. Did you ever see Ricky Gervais's music videos or anything?
Oh, yeah. Those are tough.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm similar path.
Oh my God.
But yeah, do you have any like tragic, horrible theater gone wrong?
The most tragic thing, other than a real injury that I suffered during a play, same play, by the way. We were doing Cymbeline at the Public that Joanne Akalitis directed, who is experimental director from Mabou Mines. If people want to go back and look at all that stuff, she's great. But we had an actor, Stefan Schnabel, who played the doctor in this play. And, it's kind of a stereotypical Shakespeare fifth act wrap up where one character knows everything that happened in the play. Like, you're his niece, and she actually has the potion. Right. And this king knew him as like they unwrapped the whole thing, and we're all on stage going, oh, that's how I da. So he had this last, speech that he had to give. Stefan was, I think, 98 at the time.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
So it comes time for him to wrap this up, and he goes up.
That forgets his lines.
Yeah, forgets his line. Goes up, forgets his lines, for those who want the theater vernacular.
Yeah.
And he starts stammering and making up words and basically just sort of like
trouble.
Standing in place and teetering. And you can't give somebody in Shakespeare, it's not, we're not doing something naturalistic. You can't come up with you could try to come up with some iambic pentameter and like slip a line in there to help him along the way. But it went on so long that first the audience sort of laughed and then realized, oh, it's not a bit, and stopped laughing. And then the other half of the audience laughed, and then half the audience shushed that part of the audience that laughed.
Yeah.
And then the actors on stage kind of were starting to laugh, those two that would start to laugh, and everyone's like, shut the fuck up. And everybody stops laughing, and he's still kind of
trying to pull it off. He doesn't think anyone's noticed.
Trying to pull it off. This went on for probably 2 minutes. You know how long 2 minutes is?
Yeah.
You guys have died for 2 minutes for sure, collectively on this show.
Oh,
for
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it feels like a long time.
Yeah,
but
it's a long time. And
she
finally,
says it's not.
Joan Cusack, who was the lead in it, who played Cymbeline, just finally started saying his lines. She just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, just
and
took
he
over.
kind of revved up and got through it, and then got off stage and he said, I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
I have to quit.
Yeah, I
I'll
know
never
the
want to
You're like,
act
you're
again.
98. There's no point. Sorry.
Yeah, you're gonna be dead soon, I guess is what Joan said to try to bolster his ego.
Good Lord. Yeah. That's the scariest thing in the
Wow.
world.
Fuck.
It was really sad.
Going up on your dialogue like that on stage.
the scariest thing in the world.
Right? There's just
Yeah,
nothing.
you don't need that crap at 98.
There's nowhere to hide.
yeah.
Yeah, there's nowhere to hide. Right. But now, Don, you're like one of the sweetest people ever. What pisses you off? Because I can't, the few times I've met you, even today, you're always just very in the middle, very cool, calm, collected. Is there
Gummy
some
program.
What's that?
Gummy.
I said I'm on that gummy program.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet he's not happy when he blades a bunker shot, right? You hit that ball right in the belly coming out of the sand trap. It's just, you're never
That's
happy.
what pisses you off.
Yeah.
Immediately, but then I kind of let it go, I think like stupidity without any desire to not be stupid pisses me off. I don't mind if you're stupid. People can be stupid. But when are like incurious and don't want to actually look under the stupidity and see where that stupidity is
better
coming from,
themselves. Yeah.
that kind of pisses me. And, as we can see, it's incredibly dangerous. And,
Yes. Amen.
we're in a sweet spot of stupidity right now for a lot of people. And
Would that extend across all sort of areas, that sort of stupidity, like whether it's history or language or just geography, even basic geography of states and cities within the country that we live?
like if people didn't know where a city was.
Yeah,
and
like
where
they
a
don't know
team
what a
was.
city is. It's been explained to them like five times.
This feels like a shot. This is definitely, hey,
No. I
Sean?
think Will's just trying to use
This is general. This is very general. I'm just trying to get a general sense of what
Yeah,
time.
because Sean, remember earlier in the show, and I had a problem with Kansas
Well,
City?
ignorance isn't stupidity. Ignorance is anyone can be ignorant.
That's true. Anybody can be ignorant. Thank you, Jason. So, Don, honestly, you've been a dream. You're just you're such a cool guy. We've never hung out. We threatened once. I was on Joey Russo wanted me to get into football fantasy league, and I said no. And Joe said, "Well, just stay in the chat and talk shit, even though you don't want to play." And I did for about 6 months, I think.
Really?
Yeah, you were in there. It was great.
Don and Pratt and Rougeau, and it was fun.
It was a lot like this, just like pot shots from the side.
It was a lot of pot shots.
Will.
Well, Will, you and Don should go out and play some golf while I'm on my golf hiatus, and then I'll rejoin you guys in the end of fall.
What happened? Why are you on a hiatus?
I got some
He's
more.
on a hiatus because he's working. He shot an even par 70.
But
2 weeks ago.
But who cares, really? It's not a big deal. But listen, thank you for joining us today, Don.
Don, will you make me this pledge when you come back that you and I will play? Can we do that? Can we say that'll happen?
100%.
Okay, great.
He's the absolute
Sean,
greatest.
do you play? This should be the foursome.
I always say I could drive the cart.
He loves to drive the cart.
It's a date.
It's so much fun. We get him a soda. We get him like a float, like a root beer float, and he drives
Donnie,
the cart.
next time you're...
A soda.
Sometimes
We
a
get him
Shirley
a
Temple,
soda.
but it's a lot of sugar. It's a lot.
That sounds so
He's very
good, by the way.
groggy, and by the 17th hole, he's kind of irritable, a little grumpy.
Guys, it's good. Just pick it up. We got to go.
That's totally me.
Love you, Don. Thank you for saying yes.
Yeah, love you, pal.
Enjoy the rest of your
man.
day
Good
down
to
there in
see you.
Atlanta. And say hi to our friend, Mr. Hart, please.
I will. Thanks, guys. Great seeing you today.
God, great to
Don.
see you, dude.
Thank you, Don. Bye, buddy.
Yep.
I love Donchalant. It's so good.
JB, what a great great
He's
guest.
the best.
God, he's so. I love that.
Don't your
dude.
shoulders just drop when you're talking to him?
Yes.
Yeah, he's
Right?
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
He's
just,
such a.
I
he's
can't even
another one of
form
those
words.
mega talent. He falls into that category. Mega talent.
And universally loved.
And we say this all the time. It seems like the people who work all the time also have
Happen to be
wonderful
great people.
personalities.
Yeah, I agree.
Like they're
Well, yeah,
kind
because
and
Jamie, you
generous.
know, you're a director. It's a big part of your career now and your life. And when you're deciding between, you have a lot of options to do stuff with a lot of different people. And part of the calculus, I imagine, is who do I want to spend the next 4 months with?
It's
Yeah, for
huge.
sure.
And it's before I even start to get excited about the idea of them coming on. And that's cast or crew. I'll do Zooms with people that I may not even see on the set. And I just need to know that they're not going to, wreck it with their not being nice people. It's important. Yeah. But he's amazing. I could have just gone on forever and ever. We didn't get to much of anything, which is what we do on this show. Sorry, listener.
We get a lot of complaints about that. I think that from some people who say like, "Oh, you guys didn't. And what they forget is like, we're just so excited to see Don.
Yeah.
Right. So a guy like Don. So we just start talking. And
we're not journalists. We're just three dummies that want to just talk a little bit and can't believe anyone's listening. So
and if you're like, oh, why didn't you get to what Don's favorite dog type is? We're like, sorry, we were just excited. We just wanted to talk shit with him. You know what I mean? Like.
That's on the SmartLess extras. If you want to know his favorite dog type,
exactly. Or talk about like vacation spots. Like I don't know, like. Has he ever been to Thailand or Mumbai or like
Mumbai?
Oh, Mumbai! You glaze right over it, Mumbai. SmartLess is 100% organic and artisanally handcrafted by Rob Armjarv, Bennett Barbaco, and Michael Granteri.
SmartLess.